GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. I'm Lauren Dupuis. Today we'll break down the city's decision to cancel the GMNA modular housing project over contamination, preview the $134 million Place des Arts theater renovation, and note traffic is clear this morning. Over to you, Ryan.
Montreal Tempo set a WNBA attendance record at their home game last Friday night, despite losing to Dallas.
The record attendance surpassed the previous best, with over 9,000 fans filling the arena on that night.
The Tempo's attendance goal was to reach 10,000 spectators, and the new record fell just short of that target.
All right, let's get into it. The latest headlines on community projects and local developments coming up next. Good morning, Montreal. Quebec's new population forecast shows uneven growth across regions. The Institut de la Statistique du Québec released its latest demographic projections early Saturday. The data project that the province's overall population will continue to rise, but growth will not be uniform. Several rural and peripheral regions are projected to lose residents over the next decade, while the Greater Montreal area and other major urban centers are expected to add tens of thousands of new inhabitants each year. Despite the projected declines, the agency notes that demand for housing is rising province-wide, driven by continued inflows to the larger cities. The forecast follows a long-standing pattern of population concentration in urban corridors, and the new figures suggest that the distribution of residents will shift further in that direction. The ISQ will release a detailed report later this week.
Toronto Tempo's historic debut in the city is in full swing. The WNBA squad played its first regular season matchup yesterday at the Bell Centre, drawing a crowd that already challenges the league's attendance benchmarks. Team president Teresa Resch said the organization hopes the two-game stint, with the second contest set for tomorrow, will break the record for a women's basketball audience. General manager Deborah Arbeck added that the schedule is part of a broader push to raise the profile of the sport locally. Fans can expect the same high-energy style that earned the Tempo a loyal following back home, now on a stage that seats over 20,000 spectators. With the Bell Centre buzzing, the upcoming game promises to keep the momentum alive and could cement a new high watermark for the league.
Yesterday, a federal court in Quebec heard 4 accused drug traffickers admit guilt for moving kilogram-scale cocaine shipments along the Toronto-Montreal corridor. The men, whose identities were not released, acknowledged distributing multiple loads that crossed the provincial border in recent months. After the pleas, the judge sentenced 3 of the defendants to terms in federal prison, citing the large quantity and organized nature of the operation. The 4th defendant received a suspended sentence and will be placed on probation. Prosecutors said the case underscores a broader pattern of cocaine flow between the two cities, which has drawn increased law enforcement attention. Court documents show the convicted individuals will serve their sentences consecutively, with the longest term set at 10 years. Authorities said the convictions send a clear signal to other networks operating along the corridor.
2 brothers will line up on opposite sides of the field today as the Alouettes welcome the Stampeders to Percival Molson Memorial Stadium. Wide receiver Tyson Philpott, a key target for Montreal, will try to outpace his twin, Jalen Philpott, who stars for Calgary. The rare sibling showdown adds an extra storyline to a game that already promises plenty of action in the CFL's mid-season stretch. Both brothers have posted strong numbers this year, and each will be looking to give his team the edge in a contest that could swing the East and West divisions. Fans in the stands and across the province will be watching closely to see which Philpott makes the bigger splash as the rivalry intensifies on home turf. Their parents, who traveled from Calgary to support the twins, said they are proud to see the brothers compete at the highest level.
An officer of the city police has been charged with assault after an incident at the Chez Paré nightclub on Friday evening. Philippe Paquette, a member of the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal, allegedly detained a patron he believed was armed, though no weapon was found. The suspect was held without justification, and the officer omitted any mention of his suspicion from the official report. Police authorities announced the charge on Saturday, saying the alleged misconduct raises serious concerns about police conduct in nightlife venues. The incident occurred at approximately 5:13:32 p.m., and the investigation is now being handled by the SBVM Internal Affairs Unit. No further arrests have been made, and the case will proceed through the justice system. The venue, situated in the Plateau Mont-Royal neighborhood, is a night spot. If found guilty, the assault charge could carry a sentence of up to 5 years. Coming up, we'll explore Quebec's $217 million boost for community facilities and its impact on local neighborhoods. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you got a breather. Now Ryan Mercer takes us through today's local stories, so stay tuned.
Emergency rooms across the province are straining under a wave of patients, officials say. Both Montreal and Quebec City hospitals report record-high visits in the past several days, pushing wait times beyond typical limits. Physicians describe a non-stop influx of cases ranging from minor injuries to serious cardiac events, stretching staffing and resources. Ambulance crews are being redirected to alternate facilities as some departments reach capacity. Health administrators warn that the surge could affect routine care, prompting officials to urge residents to consider urgent care clinics for non-critical issues. Patients waiting for scans are facing hour-long delays, and several elective procedures have been postponed to free beds. The provincial health ministry has mobilized additional staff and supplies to support the busiest sites. As the situation unfolds, patients and families are advised to expect longer waits before receiving treatment.
On Friday, July 10th, the Réseau Express Métropolitain Consortium clarified its legal position regarding strikes. While the network is classified under the Labor Code as a public service, the law does not impose an essential service duty on its members. That means if workers walk off the job, the private operators are not required to keep trains running. The rapid transit system, which links suburbs to the city core, could therefore see full shutdowns during labor disputes. Commuters should watch for any service alerts should a strike be announced, as the network's continuity will depend on negotiations rather than statutory obligations. The REM, a rapid transit network serving the greater area, carries thousands of riders each day. Without a legal requirement to operate, a strike could interrupt travel to workplaces, schools, and medical appointments, leaving residents to seek alternative buses or carpool options.
Yesterday, the Quebec government unveiled a $217 million package aimed at modernizing cultural, sports, community, and recreation tourism facilities across the province. The funding will flow to local projects that upgrade venues such as community centers, swimming pools, museums, and regional parks, giving residents better spaces for classes, leagues, and family outings. Officials say the money is part of a broader push to strengthen infrastructure that supports both everyday activities and tourism draws. For neighborhoods, the boost could mean renovated gyms, new exhibition spaces, and improved accessibility at existing sites, helping families and clubs keep programs running without interruption. The province expects the investments to be distributed over the coming years, with municipalities preparing applications to tap the new resources. Summer festivals and youth leagues anticipate using the upgraded venues to host larger crowds, which could boost local businesses and create seasonal jobs.
Natation Quebec announced yesterday that it is exploring a new pool at the Claude Rabia Sports Complex that would meet international competition standards. The federation said the province currently lacks any venue capable of hosting world-class events, forcing athletes to travel elsewhere for qualifying meets. Officials described the proposed facility as essential for training local swimmers and attracting major tournaments, which could boost the sport's profile and create jobs in the surrounding area. The plan is still in the feasibility stage, with designers and city engineers reviewing site options and cost estimates. Funding sources have not been confirmed, and the project timeline remains undefined. If approved, the pool would become the first Quebec venue built to the specifications required by global swimming bodies, offering athletes a home venue for future championships.
The city announced yesterday that the former Lachine Marina will remain closed, as Mayor Sorgia Martinez Ferrada ruled out any plan to reopen it. The decision follows a review that found the cost of redeveloping the waterfront site would far exceed the municipal budget. In a brief statement, the mayor said Montreal must prioritize responsible financial choices and cannot shoulder the expense required for the marina's revival. Officials had been weighing options for months, but the projected price tag proved prohibitive. Residents who hoped for new recreational space or a boost to local tourism will now look to other initiatives for improvement. The mayor's clarification puts an end to speculation about a summer reopening and redirects attention to projects that fit within the city's fiscal limits. Nearby cafes and boat repair shops anticipate a slower season without the expected influx of visitors.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our weather team.
A westward jet and rising pressure seal in dry air, keeping Montreal sun-baked and rain-free today. On this date, Montreal once sweltered to 31.4 degrees Celsius in 2025, a spike that rode the tail of a lingering heat wave across the province. The bitter opposite fell to 11.8 degrees Celsius in 2016, when an Arctic blast pushed the thermometer down during an unusually early cold snap. By contrast, today's climate normals hover near 26 degrees for the high and 16 for the low, underscoring that the current forecast sits comfortably between those extremes. The live radar screen is a clean canvas across southern Quebec, with no precipitation echoes from the St. Lawrence Basin to the Laurentians. A westward jet at 123 kilometers per hour streams aloft, reinforcing subsidence and keeping the column dry. With the jet steering clear of the region, any moisture would be sheared away before reaching the city. The map stays empty, confirming a dry, stable setup as we move into today's outlook. The day opens at 7 a.m. with 15 degrees Celsius, mainly clear skies and a gentle northwest breeze of 10 kilometers per hour. Pressure is near average but rising, sealing in a layer of dry, subsiding air while the westward jet at 123 kilometers per hour rides overhead, reinforcing stability. As the sun climbs, temperatures will rise steadily, reaching 24 by noon, 26 in the early afternoon, and a peak of 28 as sunset approaches. The UV index climbs to 7, and the wind stays modest, maxing out at 19 kilometers per hour from the southwest. No weather alerts are in effect. With the atmosphere locked in, we now turn to the 5-day outlook. Saturday arrives under the same high-pressure dome, delivering a clear sky, a high of 26 and a low of 15. Sunday remains bright, climbing to 28 at its peak, while the night dips back to 15. Monday pushes the warmth further, with a high of 29 and an unusually high low of 20, keeping the air comfortably warm through the evening. The pattern shifts on Tuesday as a weak trough nudges a moist airstream into the region, bringing scattered showers and a high of 32 followed by a low of 21. By Wednesday, the ridge reasserts itself, clearing the skies and delivering a milder high of 27 and a low of 18. The stretch promises a solid warm spell with a brief mid-week rain break. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Later, we'll check today's traffic, preview the rooftop stand-up comedy and lock and paddle events, plus the Tempo's record-setting WNBA night. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Autoroute 15 is moving freely this morning, with light traffic all the way to the Quebec border. Boulevard St. Laurent, Rue Shairbrook, and Rue St. Denis are all clear, no slowdowns reported. The downtown core sees a steady flow and the bridge over the St. Lawrence is running without delay. If you're heading west on Autoroute 25, you'll also find open lanes and smooth speeds. No accidents, no construction, and no weather-related issues to report. Work on Rue Notre Dame is slated to start later this afternoon, but drivers are not seeing any slowdown at this time. On the transit side, the metro lines and bus routes are operating on schedule, with no service interruptions. Riders can expect the usual frequency through the morning rush. Looking ahead, the afternoon commute may build up around the University District and the Southwest Corridor, so consider leaving a little earlier if you're heading that way. That's the traffic picture for now.
Lock and Paddle rolls out on the Lachine Canal today, a free day of kayaking, canoeing, and music to mark the 200th anniversary of the historic waterway. It's a perfect way to get active with the family while enjoying live DJs along the banks. If laughter is more your style, head up to Musique's rooftop for a stand-up comedy show, part of the Montreal Comedy Festival. The skyline backdrop and fresh air make the jokes land even harder. For a quieter evening, the Cinquième Salle at Place des Arts presents Piano Cinema, where a pianist reimagines iconic film scores, a soundtrack for anyone who loves movies and music in one. And look ahead. Just for Laughs kicks off in the Quartier des Spectacles later this week, promising a month of non-stop comedy, while the International Jazz Festival will light up the city in mid-July. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Montreal sports made history, made moves, and made headlines this week. The Montreal Tempo dropped Friday night's home game to the Dallas Wings, but the loss was overshadowed by something historic. The crowd that showed up set a new WNBA attendance record. A tough result on the scoreboard, but a landmark moment for basketball in this city, according to Sportsnet. The Montreal Roses are strengthening their squad ahead of the season. The club announced the signings of Marie-Yasmin Aladou and Yves Perisset, two internationally experienced players described as high-profile additions. CBC Sports Soccer reports the announcement came earlier this week. An end of an era in Montreal, the Canadiens have traded longtime forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks. In return, the Habs receive future considerations. The deal was first reported by CBC Sports NHL and marks the close of Gallagher's long chapter in Montreal.
CAE, the aerospace and simulation leader headquartered in the heart of downtown Montreal, has just been named to Times Canada's Best Companies list for 2026. The recognition comes after years of investing in employee well-being, steady revenue growth, and a transparent sustainability roadmap. For a city that lives on flight and innovation, CAE's achievement shines a spotlight on Montreal's tech ecosystem, attracting talent and reinforcing the neighborhood's reputation as a hub for cutting-edge engineering. It also means new partnerships for local suppliers and more apprenticeship opportunities for our students. In a place where the skyline is shaped by ambition, CAE reminds us that Montreal's future takes off when we lift each other up. And now a story as CAE earns a spot on Time Canada's Best Companies list for 2026, celebrating local innovation.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local Sunset Montreal's evening newscast.
On the eastbound stretch of Highway 40, between the Côte de Lys interchange and Highway 15, morning commuters woke to an unexpected detour notice. Rather than frustration, the closure sparked a spontaneous act of community. At the intersection of St. Laurent and Belle Côte de Lys, a family-run bakery rolled out a pop-up stand, offering fresh croissants and steaming coffee to drivers navigating the temporary traffic loop. Nearby, a group of local cyclists set up a bright orange ribbon to guide cars safely around the work zone, their helmets glinting in the sunrise. A retired schoolteacher, Marie Tremblay, handed out printed maps with alternate routes, her smile steady as the traffic lights flickered. As the day unfolded, strangers exchanged friendly waves, sharing stories of their neighborhoods while waiting for the green light. By afternoon, the detour became a small celebration of Montreal's resilient spirit, reminding everyone that a roadblock can also be a bridge to connection. In moments like these, the city's heart beats a little louder, and we all travel a little kinder. We carry that kindness with us wherever the road takes us.
At the break of dawn on Rue d'Orville, an Air Canada 2948 touched down at Montreal Pierre Elliott Trudeau International Airport under a sky brushed with pink. As the aircraft's wheels met the runway, a sudden gust nudged it toward the grass strip beside the east-west runway. Within seconds, the seasoned captain, a veteran of more than 10,000 flights, eased the throttles and guided the jet safely onto the grassy shoulder, while air traffic controllers coordinated a calm evacuation. Passengers, some still clutching coffee cups from a nearby kiosk, felt a brief jolt but were met with reassuring smiles from flight attendants. Ground crew in bright orange vests rushed forward, their radios crackling with coordinated updates, and a local bakery's owner, who had been delivering fresh croissants to the terminal, stepped onto the tarmac with warm pastries for the crew. The plane was soon back on the paved runway, and every traveler disembarked unharmed, sharing a moment of quiet gratitude. It reminded us that in Montreal, even unexpected turns can bring a community together. In Montreal, we start each day knowing we're all looking out for one another.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunrise. Today's look at the province's $217 million boost for community facilities highlighted the impact of investment on our neighborhoods. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. See you then.